To search for evidence of a special astronomical event, we will learn about four astronomical cycles used by calendars and astronomers, both ancient and modern. First, to understand the search for an astronomical sign in the heaven that could herald a unique anniversary of Christ's resurrection, such a special anniversary would have to occur on a Sunday, the same weekday as Christ's resurrection. In searching for such a date, we will use a week meter to indicate the day of the week as we search through the dates after his resurrection. Note the week meter's needle points straight up at Sunday and tracks the 7 days of a week. Now, let's learn some principles of astronomy. One astronomical cycle is the moon's lunar orbit, which is slightly less than 27 and 1/3 days. Note the lunar orbit meter tracks the 27 and almost 1/3 days. The lunar orbit was unknown to most ancient astronomers because they had no correct understanding of our solar system. That is, that the moon revolved around the Earth and the Earth around the Sun. One lunar orbit is the time it takes for the moon to revolve once around the Earth so it again positions itself against the same stars as when it started the orbit. A second astronomical cycle is the moon's lunar month, which is slightly more than 29 and 1/2 days. Note the lunar month meter tracks the 29 and slightly more than 1/2 days. Typically, the lunar month is new moon to new moon. An astronomical new moon occurs when the center of the moon is positioned exactly on the line between the center of the sun and the center of the earth. The duration of the lunar month was known to ancient astronomers and peoples because they could see the thin crescent of a new moon from one new moon to the next. One lunar month is the time it takes for the moon to revolve once around the earth so it again positions itself between the sun and the earth. Note the lunar month is longer than the lunar orbit because the Earth has moved around the Sun and the Moon has to revolve farther around the Earth in order to again be between the Earth and the Sun. A third astronomical cycle is the solar year, which is slightly less than 365 and 1/4 days. Note the solar year meter tracks the 365 and slightly less than 1/4 days. Ancient astronomers knew about the solar year because they could track the sun and determine when the summer and winter solstices occurred, which are the longest and shortest days in the northern hemisphere, and the spring and fall equinoxes when the lengths of day and night are the same. An astronomical solar year is the time it takes for the Earth to revolve once around the Sun so it repositions the center of the Earth exactly on the line between the center of the Sun and a specific star in the heavens. Note the Moon does not have a whole number of lunar orbit or lunar month revolutions about the Earth during a solar year. A fourth astronomical cycle is the Cerro Cycle, during which most eclipses repeat about every 18.03 years. Ancient Chaldean and Babylonian astronomers figured out this cycle around 500 BC. Knowledge of this cycle permitted royal astronomers to predict most lunar and solar eclipses. They could not predict all eclipses because they were not aware there are multiple Cerro series in play at the same time, each with their own set of Cerro cycles. Even today, NASA identifies the Cerro series and its Cerro Cycle member for every solar and lunar eclipse. You can see we have a Cerros meter that tracks Cerro cycles with their period of 18.03 years.